Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at something that's really important to us as Christians, faith. And, especially when things get tough,
Yeah,
unwavering faith, we're going to be taking a look at the devotional entry for January 4th from the Ellen G. White Estate, Ask in Faith.
it really got me thinking about just how much we need that strong faith.
Well, it's interesting. This devotional, it starts out with a verse from James, chapter 1, verse 6, that really kind of sets the tone for this whole idea. It says, "Let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed."
Wow.
What powerful imagery, right?
Yeah, and it really makes you think about when we have doubts. It really does feel like we're being tossed around.
Absolutely.
By all these different things.
Yeah, and anxieties and worries, yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what I appreciate about this devotional.
Yeah.
It really encourages us to cultivate that deep-rooted faith. What really struck me about the devotional was this idea that faith needs to go beyond just what we see.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
Right. It's not just surface level. It's got to be something more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think the devotional really hit on that with the phrase, our faith must reach within the veil where Jesus has entered for us. What do you think that means for us in our everyday lives?
That's a really good question. It's like thinking about, how faith isn't just about believing in something, but really having that deep connection with Christ. It's that trust in his promises.
Yeah.
Even when we can't see what's coming next,
Yes, absolutely. And that reminds me, in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1,
Right.
It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." And I feel like that connection to what this devotional is talking about. It's that hope.
It is. It's holding on to that, even when
Yes.
things are uncertain.
It's easy for us to say we have faith, but what does unwavering faith actually look like?
Yeah.
What does it really mean?
That's the question, right? Yeah.
And does that mean we never have doubts?
Well, and this devotional doesn't shy away from the fact that we live in a world where things can feel really challenging.
Yeah.
It talks about this prevailing unbelief and this increasing iniquity, but it's like instead of letting those things just completely, take over, it's like, no, this is when your light needs to shine even brighter.
I love that.
Yeah.
Being a light in the darkness.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that? What does that really look like?
Well, there's a quote that I think really gets to the heart of that. It says, "The deeper the surrounding gloom, the brighter should shine out the light of Christian faith and Christian example."
Wow.
It's like it's not just about what you believe,
Yeah.
but it's actually how you live your life, right? Your actions, what you say, just your presence, that can be a source of encouragement for others.
So it's like being that example for others, showing them what it means to have that strong faith, even when it's really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, the devotional brings up the story of Enoch,
Oh, yeah.
a biblical figure who's known for just his unwavering faith and his close relationship with God. He lived in a time much like ours, where there was a lot of wickedness, but he stayed so strong in his faith.
It's interesting you bring that up. In Genesis chapter 5, verses 21 through 24, talks about how Enoch walked with God for 300 years.
Right.
And then he was no more because God took him.
Wow.
And I think that speaks volumes to just what unwavering faith can do.
And what's so inspiring about that story is that it suggests that we can also have that same kind of closeness with God.
Yeah.
We can have that same unwavering faith if we seek it, if we go after it.
That's so powerful. It's like we need to be proactive,
Exactly.
really going after it.
Yeah, go to God with that determination.
Yes.
Be persistent in our prayers and hold on to that faith that just won't be shaken.
That's such a challenge, and I think it's a good one. It reminds me that having faith isn't passive.
Right.
It takes effort. It takes that intentionality and that willingness to keep going, even when we face obstacles
Absolutely. Yeah.
or those doubts that sometimes come up.
It's about cultivating that relationship with Christ.
Yes.
It makes me think about something. We talk about this unwavering faith, but what about those times when we do have doubts?
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay to question, to wrestle with those things?
That's a great question. And, honestly, I think a lot of people struggle with that because we feel like if we have doubts, then maybe our faith isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
But maybe those doubts are an opportunity for us to go deeper,
Right.
to try to understand more.
Yeah.
and ultimately to come out of those doubts with an even stronger faith.
I think you're right. I think it's about embracing that journey of faith,
Yeah.
that it's not always easy,
Yeah.
but God's with us every step of the way.
This has been such a great conversation so far.
It really has.
And, we've only just scratched the surface. This devotional goes even deeper, exploring how our faith and our spiritual strength are connected.
Right.
And, it's a reminder that our faith isn't just this idea. It's the foundation for our relationship with Christ.
Absolutely.
And it's what helps us to go through all the challenges that life throws our way.
It really is. And that strength, it's what allows us to really shine, even when everything around us feels so dark.
Right.
There's this quote in the devotional. It's from Historical Sketches of the Foreign Missions of the Seventh-day Adventists.
Okay.
It says, "Our spiritual strength depends upon our faith."
It's like our faith is the key
Yeah.
to being strong.
Totally. Yeah.
And not just, when things are good, but when we face those hard times.
It's what helps us get through.
Yeah. And when we were talking about those doubts, it's like our faith is what can pull us out of that.
It really is. And it reminds me of that image of the wave.
Oh, in James.
Yeah, James chapter 1, verse 6.
Okay.
When our faith is weak, we're like that wave just being tossed around by everything.
Yeah, it's like we have no control.
Exactly. But when our faith is strong, it's like we have this anchor, something to hold on to.
Something to keep us steady.
Yeah, to keep us grounded.
And this devotional, it makes it clear that this kind of faith doesn't just happen.
Right.
It's something that we need to work on,
It takes effort.
every single day.
It does, yeah. It's not just about waiting for some big moment.
Right.
It's about living out our faith every moment of every day.
It's like making those little choices each day that add up to that bigger picture.
It is, yeah. And it makes me think about the difference between just knowing about God and really knowing God, like personally,
Like reading about a place versus actually going there.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Experiencing it for yourself.
Yeah. And this devotional says, that I could impress upon all the importance of exercising faith moment by moment and hour by hour. We are to live the life of faith, for without faith it is impossible to please God.
It's like our faith needs to be a part of every aspect of our life.
It really does, yeah. It's not just for Sundays
Right.
or special occasions. It's for every day.
So how do we do that? How do we
Yeah.
make that shift from just believing to actually living it out?
I think the story of Enoch is a great example.
Yeah.
The devotional highlights him as this example of what's possible
Right.
when we have that kind of deep faith.
Yeah, he didn't just believe in God.
Right.
He walked with God.
He did. And that word walked is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's like this journey.
Yeah.
It's not about staying in one place. It's about moving forward and
Right.
growing and getting to know God even better.
And that's where I think that determined seeking comes in.
Yeah.
That the devotional talks about.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just say, we believe.
Yeah.
We have to actively seek God.
Yes, spend time in prayer, read his word.
Exactly. And be open to his guidance.
And I think it's through that seeking that we can really start to develop that unwavering faith
It's in that pursuit. Yeah.
that can help us through anything.
It reminds me of that verse in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
It's about surrendering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Letting go of our own ideas and trusting God's plan.
It is. It's about recognizing that he knows better than we do
Yeah.
and trusting that he'll lead us in the right direction.
Even when we don't understand.
Exactly. And when we truly trust in God,
Yeah.
we can face any challenge knowing that he's right there with us, guiding us and giving us the strength to keep going.
It reminds me of something else the devotional talks about. It's about not letting the negativity of the world get to us.
Oh, that's so important.
It's easy to get caught up in all the bad stuff,
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of it out there.
but it's like we have to choose to focus on the good.
That's where that idea of being a light comes in. It's not about pretending the darkness isn't there. It's about choosing to shine our light even brighter.
To be that source of hope
Exactly.
for others who might be struggling.
Yeah. And, I love how this devotional emphasizes the practical side of faith. It's not just about these big ideas. It's about actually living them out.
In our everyday lives.
Yeah, in our choices, in how we treat others.
It's about asking ourselves, how can I show God's love today?
Yeah, how can I live out my faith in a real way?
And I think that's a question we should be asking ourselves all the time.
It's a daily commitment.
It is. It's about choosing faith over fear, hope over despair, and love over judgment.
It's about letting our faith guide our actions, our words, our whole being.
This whole idea of living out our faith, it's really got me thinking, what are some ways we can actually do that? Like, in our everyday lives.
Well, the devotional talks about shining our light,
Right.
especially when things are dark around us. And I think there are so many ways to do that.
It doesn't always have to be something big, right?
No, not at all. Sometimes it's those small acts of kindness.
Yeah, those everyday moments.
Exactly, like offering a kind word to someone who's down.
Yeah.
Or forgiving someone who's hurt you.
Even when it's hard.
Even when it's tough, yeah.
It's about making those choices that reflect our faith.
Letting our faith guide our actions.
Yeah, and, I think it's also important to remember that we're not alone in this.
Right? We have each other.
We have that community of believers.
Yeah, to support us, to encourage us.
And to help us grow in our faith.
And, that sense of community, it can extend beyond just the church, too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about being a light in the world. Sharing God's love with everyone.
Yeah, no matter who they are or what they believe.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're all God's children.
And that we're all deserving of love and respect.
So, as we wrap up this look at Ask in Faith, I think the main takeaway is that unwavering faith, it's more than just an idea.
It's a way of life.
It is. It's about actively seeking God, trusting Him, and letting His love change us.
From the inside out.
Exactly. It's about living a life that reflects His character.
His values, His heart.
And being that light in the world.
Sharing His hope and His grace with everyone we meet.
And, it's important to remember that this journey of faith, it's not always easy.
There will be challenges, there will be doubts.
But even in those moments, we can hold on to that promise that God is with us.
He's guiding us, He's strengthening us.
This devotional, it's been a powerful reminder that our faith, it's the key to our spiritual strength.
And as we grow in our faith, we'll become more like who God created us to be.
Those beacons of hope. Those agents of change.
Reflecting His love to the world.
It's been great exploring this with you.
It really has, and thanks for joining us on this journey of unwavering faith. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more, and until next time, may your faith be a source of strength and guidance in your life.